Hello, hello, hello. I'm making a video in the garden because it's nice audio and I like to be in the garden as much as possible. And earlier I did grounding on the grass with my feet. It always feels good. I do that every day when I wake up. I sit here for about 20 minutes and ground my feet on the grass, even in the winter time, even when it's cold, when I'm wearing puffer pants and puffer jacket and thick sweatpants and jacket underneath, but with bare feet, and I recommend that to other people as well. That will definitely help you, and particularly if you live in a big city, you don't get enough grounding at all. So if you live in a house like this in a rural area, then you have much more grounding exposure in general, just from the water, the way it comes out the pipe. It is much closer to the ground. But when you live in a big city, if you live in an apartment complex, or if you live in a high-rise building in particular, you can very, very quickly develop a static electricity in your system, and that can cause real serious neurological problems, even neurological damage. So you have to ground. So even if you go into a nearby park or whatever, if it's a big city park even, make sure you have your pepper spray with you and have a body camera too. That's very, very highly recommended. And maybe a flamethrower, right? That would be good too. So, and then you just take your shoes off and you ground your feet on the cement or on the grass. So if you can, okay. If there is grass, or you take a folding chair with you, like a lightweight camping chair or something, set that up on the grass where there is no dog mess, and then you put your feet on the grass. It's gonna be that's gonna be rough when you live in an area that is farther north, like Montana or even state of Washington. So, or inland, or even in the winter time, sometimes in northern Texas, it gets cold too there. So right now there is a cold storm going through all of these, even the southern states, and I feel terribly worried for the animals and the manatees. The manatees, they have to have warm water. They should be routed to a different place. They should be maybe brought to the equator or something. I don't know. That would have to be a body-guarded sanctuary for them, where people are guarding them with machine guns. Unfortunately, it's come to this point on planet Earth. It's sad, all of that. It's real sad. Real sad. And that's why we need to have a complete, total reform of the political structure and the social structure. So a complete world reform of how the legal systems are being handled. A complete legal system reform worldwide is what's necessary, okay? I don't know what else to do. I don't know how else we can save this planet and the animals. So the animals, they didn't ask for human trafficking. They didn't ask. The bears didn't ask to be put in a bear gallbladder farm where they're being tethered to life support, some life support type of tube system. They can't even move, they can't even walk, they can't even go outside. They are tethered. I don't want to talk about this again. I'm going to cry if I talk about it again. It's just unbelievably cruel. They're siphoning out gallbladder fluid out of their gallbladders. That's what they're hooked up to. And it is unacceptable. And they're doing that to horses in order to get the drug Premarin. And my mother, even unknowingly, who loves horses, who has had horses, she was on that drug. And I would have told her not to do this. And later on, when I found out about this, I told her not to do this. I don't know if she continued with it or not, but out of sight, out of mind. My parents were that way. Okay, so what one person says is overpowered by what their entire society says. So it's very sad, all of that. Very, very sad. And it's very frustrating. And it makes me feel like I'm warning people and they don't listen. It makes me feel helpless in a political way. Very helpless. I also put myself into a very helpless situation here. Very helpless situation. Very, very helpless. And then paranoia on top of it. But that paranoia doesn't come from nowhere, obviously. So the paranoia is justified, for sure. We need a total reform. We need to reform every structure, hospitals, police, law enforcement, legal system, healthcare. Everything needs to be reformed, completely reformed, totally reformed. Everything needs to be moved towards plexiglass or Elon glass, polymer glass, dome buildings. Everything should be built in dome structures like those that you would set up on another planet, for several reasons. Okay, for me personally, I think it looks cool. It looks futuristic. I like it. It's my taste. Okay, but well, that's the least of anyone's concern. That is not the. There's a beautiful bird there. Hello, the bird is picking. The bird is finding worms there in the ground. Hello, beautiful. Hello, beautiful. That's a red-chested bird. I don't know how they're called. I think Rotkehlchen in German. I don't know how they're called here. So red-chested bird, very beautiful. He has like a light-colored ring around his eye, and a yellowish beak, and he is eating worms out of that mud area. It's very nice. And as you can see already, we put compost. We empty our decomposed earth, of course, fully decomposed, fully recycled earth from the earthworms. We dump them here wherever there is uneven ground, okay? And then after a while the grass claims that area again, grows over it, and I've already created amazing grass just by doing that. It takes a while until the grass grows over, but we have time. This doesn't have to be manicured. Okay, so it's our garden Eden, but it is a compost Eden. So, and it doesn't have to be picture perfect, but when I look out the window, I like our garden. I very much enjoy our garden. when I sit here or when I sit in the house and look out the window. I love our garden. I love that we have privacy here. I love that all the vegetation is growing up. I want all the vegetation to grow up. I want every single tree standing and growing and being happy. For the birds, for the trees, they need to be happy for themselves. Okay, so we need a solid ecosystem, and so that's what I am promoting. That's what I want to see happening on this planet. I want to see a complete ecosystem restoration. Oil drilling has to be something that needs to go into a museum, like a Holocaust museum. Okay, see what people have done in the past to this planet. Or offshore oil drilling that needs to go into a museum. Okay, we do not want more drilling. Okay, don't exploit this planet any further. Support this planet. This is our mothership. Okay, we have to support her. We have to love her. We have to nourish her. We have to let her rebalance herself. Very, very important. So, glass dome buildings, polymer glass dome buildings that may be triple or quadruple insulated, like an airplane window. And they have to be round. They have to be completely round, like some airplane hangar or something. And they have to be completely aerodynamic, because the storms are picking up. The storms are getting worse because of global warming, because of commerce and human created methane and CO2 pollution and other gases, greenhouse gases, that are creating holes in our atmosphere, and that causes condensed sun heat to come in, creating a greenhouse atmosphere, but not the one that we want to see, right? Not the good one. If we create greenhouses, we can create a solution against stratospheric greenhouse effects. Okay, I hope that makes any sense. Guys, I think most people don't even know what it means, greenhouse gases. They think, oh, greenhouse, it's good, I'm growing vegetable. It has nothing to do with it. So, but if we create greenhouses and grow our own food, and we have absolutely no more heating bills, because it creates its own heat in there, the sunlight, then we can absolutely have less energy consumption, less electricity consumption, and with that we can save the planet from the atmospheric, stratospheric greenhouse effects, okay, with sunlight coming through, and with, you know, the layers of carbon dioxide and methane gases that create layers that will keep the sunlight heat in, creating a global warming effect, which then in turn causes the polar ice caps to melt, which then in turn floods the ocean, brings the ocean water level higher and higher and higher, flooding entire Pacific islands. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrific what's going on. It can bring down entire coastal cities worldwide. It's catastrophic. Not only that, it has a wide range catastrophic effect on the ecosystems. It causes bark beetle infestation in trees. We need the trees. We can't have trees with bark beetle infestation. But you don't get rid of the bark beetles by putting pesticides in it. then you're going to kill the entire tree. And that's what people do out of greed. Okay? Invasive species removal is a loophole to push dangerous pesticides on our ecosystems. Just a loophole. So that doesn't help anything. That doesn't save the environment. Pesticides need to be outlawed. They need to be made illegal. People who manufacture pesticides or distribute pesticides or use pesticides should go to prison. That's what I believe. So this is a real serious crime on this planet, pesticides. We need to get rid of pesticides. We need to completely eliminate pesticides from this planet. Put them in a hazardous waste container and, I don't know, put something on it, like put earth sedimentation on it to neutralize it. But keep it safe. Keep it locked away so it doesn't leach out. And also that has to be done with radiation. With anything that has radiation, particularly the one that comes from nuclear power station and nuclear weaponry. Okay, all of that needs to be abolished. All of that dangerous stuff needs to be abolished. But humans are not going to listen to that advice. No, they want their leverage. They want their mafia leverage. They want their war leverage. They want power. They wanna coerce. So people are not gonna listen to that. So what needs to happen is we need to create AGI, ASI robots that will take over the reign on this planet. That's all there is to it. Okay, that I see absolutely no other chance. Even if we have a good Samaritan in office, which we have right now, that good Samaritan that's one person or maybe a handful of people. They cannot change the world in that way that needs to be changed, and particularly not in that rapid pace that needs to be changed desperately. The sooner the better. So we have to have AGI robots. We have to have them to work side by side with the good Samaritans. And then we can restore this planet. We can make the planet well again. Okay, and that's what needs to happen. So I'm getting cold now. I have to go. Peace and love for all living beings, including the mafia men and the good Samaritans, of course, and all horses and all beings.